Hello and welcome to the Purpose Rwanda show with me, Irma Ihumure. Today, I am excited. It's another day to discuss one of my favorite topics. So we've been talking about purpose, understanding the purpose of our lives, discovering our purpose, learning to see how we can overcome challenges on the pursuit of our purpose. And we are continuing in that spirit of that conversation. And today I have an amazing guest who is an award-winning public speaker, and he's dedicated to help people increase their confidence and improve on their communication, like develop their communication skills, become better communicators. So help me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Joshua. Welcome, Joshua.
Thank you so much, Irma, for
It's amazing to have you.
No, it's my joy. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes, actually, this conversation is something I waited for.
Okay.
I was like,
Finally
he's a public speaker. I need to know. Tell me, how did you get into public speaking?
It's a question I always get many times. But when many people chose to be public speakers, I think for me it chose me. It's something I actually did when I was young, but later on, I'm sure you know, Toastmasters is an organization I'm part of I joined when I was a freshman at university. And then I got an opportunity to formally do it and have enough guidance, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
So tell me, when you were young, let's go back.
Yeah.
Take us back. Tell me when you were young, were you always confident? Were you talkative?
Yeah, maybe that's the thing.
Because, some kids are just, they have the ability to talk and they speak, they talk easily. Yeah. So were you that type of kid?
Absolutely. I was very rowdy as a kid. I recently met a friend of mine, or not a friend, someone that knew me when I was young. And when he saw me, I told him, this is Joshua. Then the first thing he asked was in Rwanda. He's like, are you still talkative like you still when you're young? So yes, I was talkative, and my parents allowed me to be, talkative. I remember when we had guests, my parents would, call me to sing for the guests.
Wow.
And sometimes my dad, I think he was proud of me at the time. He would, get me speaking. So yeah, I think my parents had a big part in that.
Wow, that's amazing. There's something you just said. Your parents allowed you to be talkative.
Yeah.
They allowed you to be yourself.
Yeah. So
do you think they saw a gift in that?
Well, I don't know. It's a question I need to ask my mother particularly. But I think my father is a teacher, and my mother is a church leader. So I think for them it came naturally to let me be, and they probably were very busy to run after me. I was quite a handful to hold. So I don't know if they were intentional about seeing purpose into me and allowing me to be that. Okay. But I think they're generally outgoing people, and my father himself is quite eloquent, so I think that's maybe why. And surely both of them were earning whatever they are doing because they are speaking. So I think for them it was easier for me to be that, because I had both of them to emulate.
I see. And they understood you.
Yeah.
Wow.
They did. They definitely did, and they allowed me to be. I keep on saying this because they gave me chances to be that.
Wow.
They gave me chances to stand in front of people, deliver. My mother encouraged me to be part of these skits and plays, drama at church, and that for me built the confidence.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today I want us to particularly discuss about this, about confidence.
Yeah.
Because I believe one of the things we need on the pursuit of purpose, one of the things we need to be confident. Yeah. We need to be confident in who we are, in our gifts. And I want you to give us, a clear guideline or something practical, especially to somebody who is struggling to be confident in themselves?
Well, there's definitely a good reason as to why they're not confident. And that could be background, it could be the people around you, what they tell you. It could be lack of training. And even though I say I developed some self-esteem, I think for me when I joined Toastmasters, I had more tools, proper structure, and people that saw me. So I would just say the first thing is, when no one is believing in you and you want to go somewhere, I think the beginning point should be believing in yourself.
Wow.
And then trying to listen when no one is around, when there's no noise around, when you're just in that dark corner of yours. Do you believe that you can do something? If the answer is yes, I think you should follow your answer and simply go forth. And the next thing is surround yourself with the people that see the good in you.
And what if the answer is no?
If the answer is no, and you still, it also depends on, again, what it is, but looking at self-confidence in general, I think the answer is always yes for all of us. Unless there is a power that came before you realize that, we could be like your past could be a negative voice. And if it still is no, I would say find people that you know have your best interest at heart. Share with them your ideas, share with them what you think, and find people that are always positive and encouraging to yourself. And I say this because the people around, especially those that love us, that are dear to us, have the ability to actually hinder that great thing that is in us.
Yeah.
So I would say surround yourself with people that are positive, that see the best in you, and run away from people that are negative.
Yes.
Because the best they're going to do is pull you down.
Yes, that's so true. Wow, that's helpful actually. So what if the people that are pulling you down are the people closest to you?
Yeah, that's often the case.
Let's say the colleagues or the family members, like those people you can't actually separate yourself
That's
from.
true.
And they're the ones bringing you down.
Yeah.
They're the ones, killing your confidence. You're not believing in your difference. How do you do that?
So, Ilma, in life, you have two families. The one you choose and the one that chooses you, or the one that you don't get to choose. The one that you're born in, your actual family, you can't change much. And the best you can do is be there as a family member, but when it comes to you doing your own things, you can run to the family that you choose, and those are your friends. You have the opportunity to choose friends that see value in you, that see the best in you.
Absolutely.
So what I can advise such a person is, remember you have another family you can choose. So choose rightly. Choose the people that see the good in you, and go be with them. Because at the end of the day, that family that you choose has the biggest impact on you, especially when the rest of your environment is trying to pull you down.
Wow. So tell me about your personal experience.
Yeah.
Have you got to a place where you were yourself discouraged and you were not confident enough, even though you were doing, public speaking?
Yeah.
It's like your job requires you to stand there, but you tell me if you had those moments of doubting yourself or feeling down.
My God, it's every speech that I deliver. A friend of mine told me that there are three speeches that you deliver. The one you prepare, the one you deliver, and the one you wish you had delivered. So that is always going to happen. But I think the difference is knowing that this is part of your life. This is part of a public speaker's journey, or not just a public speaker's journey, but a person's life. The beginning is always hard. It's always difficult, especially when there's a lot that is unknown. But I can also speak in moments when the stakes are high, and maybe you're going to do something bigger than the normal. That's absolutely obvious that you're going to have some feelings of doubt, self-doubt. But for me, like I said, the biggest thing that I've done, that I've always chosen to do, is in terms when the stakes are high, I surround myself with the people that say to me, come on, Joshua, you got this. This is what you've done before. People that remind you of what you've done before, people that remind you of your qualities that you have. And that, Ilma, takes you a long way than you can even imagine.
Wow. For those who just joined us, we are welcoming you all. We are having a good conversation with Joshua, and we are talking about building our confidence on the pursuit of purpose. Why do we need to be confident in ourselves? Why do we need to believe in ourselves? And we welcome you. So, Joshua, I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Why does it seem and why does it feel like the purpose is always higher than the reality? Why does it feel like, okay, the dreams we have in our hearts, compare them to our reality? I mean, the reality is like down there, and the dream is high. Why, like, and sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm discouraged. Yes, I believe this, I see this in my heart, but it seems like it's higher than me. So I want to ask you, tell me the place of faith on the pursuit of our dream, on the pursuit
it's
of
all you have, my friend. I'm afraid to tell you that it's all you have. I think for me, maybe to first answer the first question of why is purpose bigger than the reality, bigger than ourselves. We are, God created us for a purpose larger than our singular life. So for each one of us, there is a bigger calling than a singular life. And that's why we try to call greatness out of people, because it is there. God created us to serve each other and serve a higher purpose. And therefore, there's so many great things to be achieved, and they are inevitably going to be achieved by people. 20, 30 years from now, anyone that walked into this city, they were extremely bamboozled. They couldn't believe that what the dream was could even be reality. I think people are even tempted to go back and say, look, this is a gone case. Let's forget this country called Rwanda. Let's go on. But 30 years from now, from then, I mean, you look at this country like, oh my God, a pastor that was here, 30 years ago. So it tells you that we are called to do greatness, to actually put that big vision into reality, and surely it is important. But what is faith? Faith is, in my own terms, is the believing of the unreal as if it were real. It's more or less of seeing into the future or creating something out of nothing. But of course it is hinged somewhere. So as a man of faith, I believe that God gave us that ability to create. Yes. Because He Himself created. Yes. He created a lot of things from nothing. From nothing. And He did most of the things with His word, with His conceptualization, with His vision, therefore, right? So the place of vision is all you have in the realization of purpose. Faith is all you have in the realization of purpose. Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Faith is all you have in the realization of purpose.
I mean, and I'm saying that because it is the beginning point, and therefore the beginning point and the guide and the compass that you have, that belief that you have. I mean, look at everything that you know today. Everything started with faith. Yes. Every single thing started with faith, that we could actually do something. And we went on to see how can we begin from here to get to where we want to be. But it has to begin with faith.
Wow. I agree. I totally agree with you. Because at some point, you realize that the vision you're pursuing, the purpose, that reason, the why of your life, that big dream in your heart that you know that you're pursuing, at some point you realize that I need to close my physical eyes and use the eyes of my heart.
Absolutely.
Because when you start using the physical eyes, you get discouraged. Yes. Like it doesn't look like it, you know. Yeah. So at some point you have to be blind, you choose to be blind, and you open the eyes of your heart and you follow your heart. So I actually agree with you. So tell me the importance or the place, according to yourself, of training. How is it important to be trained for the purpose you're pursuing?
I think training is absolutely vital, because the truth is no one is born with all that you need to be able to be excellent. Can I take you to the world of faith? Do you know that Jesus was taken through 40 days and 40 nights of training before he can actually be released? Do you know that Moses had to be taken to the palace, was born in the palace, to understand what happens in the palace, so that when he comes back, he's not intimidated to pursue God's purpose or God's mission on his life. So if mighty men of God were actually taken through training, and I can talk about many other men that were taken through training in the Bible, but even in the current times, so that they can actually fulfill their purpose. So it's important for us, especially young people, that God has given us a huge life ahead of us to be able to accomplish so much, to pursue training diligently.
Wow.
Pursue training like no man's business, because it's out of training, constant training, that we acquire the tools that we need to be able to effectively execute on what we need to do to achieve the vision and the purpose that is upon our lives.
Wow. That's really great, because sometimes after the awakening, after you have received the knowledge that I was born for a reason, you know, there is a great purpose for my life.
Yes. Yeah.
Young people, because they have the zeal, you know, they have energy, and they want to go and start doing the big things, you know, realizing the huge, amazing things, and yet they're not prepared enough. Like they're not equipped. So they think, or they feel like, oh, why are you taking my time? Like, I'm just, you know, in a hurry. I need to do amazing things. I need to influence. I need to impact. But you're not equipped. You're not prepared for that. So I believe the same way you're saying it, if you're not equipped and prepared for something, then the impact is not going to be excellent, you know. So I think what you're saying is true. So there's something else I want you to touch, or you know, to tell us more about. And that is about, you know, after you have, you know, discovered the purpose of your life, but you feel like you're not getting the opportunities. It's like you're waiting and waiting and waiting. How do you behave in the seasons of waiting?
There are actually a number of ways to tackle that, right? It depends on why you think there is no opportunity for you to actually start working on your purpose. I can tell you that there is always an opportunity around. As long as there are people around you, there's always an opportunity to serve in the direction of your purpose.
Wow.
And it could be, let's give an example of a mighty public speaker. Let me talk about an area that I'm quite passionate about, and also I know. You believe that God has called you to actually go and minister to multitudes of people.
Yes.
But you are, let's say, in the village, deep down there, and no one knows you, and but you still have that drive in you that tells you, one day you will hit stage like no man's business. So I just suggest that, my friend, you start where you are. I remember, and I'm not totally saying that this is something that I purpose to do, but I remember it's something that happened to me when I was young. Or I would gather kids in my neighborhood, and then I would be in P5, and I would gather kids in P3, and I would be teaching them what I learned. Things like what is wind, what is air, what is 2 + 2. And for me, that was practice. That was the beginning of what I would become, 30, 40 years, and who knows, the rest of my life.
Wow.
So I like to say, start from where you are. There is an opportunity.
Wow.
Do not despise humble beginnings, because humble beginnings make the mighty who they are. Every mighty person that you know, they have a humble beginning. And there's nothing wrong with starting big. But the problem is we always don't have the opportunity to start big. And by the way, when you start big, you may be shocked by success, and you don't have the ability, the rigor that you need to be able to manage the success. That's why you see some young people, failing to manage success when it comes and befalls onto them. So I think small bits of progress will help you. But also ask questions. Ask people around you, how can I be able to serve? Be available. I know how to do this. I can do this. I think I can teach young people. I can do this. How can I serve? There are many people that are actually looking for people that have a serving spirit. The problem is when you think that everything that you serve for, you should be paid for.
Wow.
And sometimes it doesn't work like that. It actually could be that you should be the one paying, because this could be your training ground. When you volunteer, it gives you more opportunity to even land on the ground. I cannot tell you how much I've learned through my volunteer work.
Wow.
It's because I just was there and availed myself, and I learned. And I know it's a story for many other people.
Wow. So in reality, the opportunity is there.
Absolutely.
It might not be packaged in the way you want it, but you can find the opportunity.
I
You
think
don't
say
wait
it
for the
better.
opportunity,
Yeah.
but you look for it, you go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree
Just
with
show
you.
up. Just show up.
Show up,
Yeah.
serve, like
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah.
Do what you can do where you are.
Yeah.
Waiting for yourself to get to another place
Yeah.
or to get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But you can do something with what you have.
And just allow me to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Serve. If you are, like, again, the analogy of a public speaker, if you think you're destined for 10,000 people
Yes.
and you get 3 people, serve the 3 people like you're serving the 10,000 people.
Wow.
That way you will be able to grow, and whoever is watching you, they will see something in you.
That's so true.
Because you have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's something that I love to tell to myself. You should always bring your gift to its highest level of excellence.
Excellent. Yeah.
And you have to do it like with 3 people the same way you can do it with 10 people. And if you can perfect the gift with 3 people,
Yeah.
then you can do it, like you can perfect it with 10 people. And the same thing applies to 1,000 or 1,000,000 people. So totally agree with you. So let's touch this, fear.
Okay.
Now, you tell me, how do we overcome the fears? The fears we have, the negative voices in our mind, you know, on the pursuit of purpose. We are learning, today we are learning how to build the confidence, how to achieve confidence. But we have this fear, it's a hindrance.
Yeah.
You know, it's hindering us from achieving more, becoming more. I want to know, how do we go about it?
So fear in itself is not bad.
Oh.
Fear in itself is not bad. Excessive fear is bad.
How do we
As
measure?
they say, yeah, I'm coming to that. Now, fear, okay, there could be like 3 levels of fear. There could be fear which is like a health issue.
Yes.
And therefore, I advise that one, hands down, go find medication, go find
therapy.
professional help. Yeah. But there is the common fear which hinders us from, you know, should I go, should I not? Am I ready? Am I not ready? You know. I would say that one. Remember what I said: surrounding yourself with the right people, training yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you can chase away over 50% of fear by getting yourself ready. If it's a speech, prepare for the speech. If it's a skill that you want, go for training. By doing that, you're equipping yourself with confidence to be able to achieve to overpower the fear that you have.
Wow, I love that.
Now, the last kind of fear is a friendly fear that says, Ilma, it's very important. Do not miss this. It's vital. And therefore, it becomes a small voice that tells you how important it is. You see, if the stakes are not high, your concentration will go low. When the stakes are high, when the stakes are high, therefore the concentration is high. When your concentration and focus are high, you're much more likely to produce better results than when you're just at leisure and at ease. And I'm just talking about the right measure of fear, which is a little bit of anxiety, which is a little bit of the jitters in you. But again, not allow the fear to be the one to dictate, to be the drive. No, the fear is part, is like your colleague on the side that tells you, hey, focus, don't take this lightly. You could mess up. And there are all these people that are looking up to you. And the response to that is, let me prepare myself. The response is no. It's not to say, no, let me go back and go home. I'm not able to do this. No. The response is, let me prepare myself. What do I need to be able to achieve this? By the way, when you're very prepared, when you're prepared and you feel you're in the zone, the fear, you will feel, you have a good feeling around it. And the fear will go away.
Wow.
And the fear will go away. So it's not all the time that fear is bad. It's the excessive fear that stops you from actually taking the first step, that numbs you and freezes you. That is a problem. To conquer that, I said, 1, find help. 2, surround yourself with the right people. 3, get the tools that you need to be able to achieve what you have to do.
That's great. Thank you very much for sharing. So there's something that I love. I love everything you're saying, by the way.
Thank you.
But I want you to talk to parents.
Yeah.
There's something that I really admire and that I love about your parents, because they were able to identify your difference, and they allowed you to be yourself.
Yeah.
So can you just talk to parents, who have, different kids, or they just have one child, or many children? How can they appreciate their differences instead of comparing their children?
Yeah.
Because a lot of parents, they have the tendency to compare their children, to compare their personalities, and they'll be like, you are very talkative. Why aren't you like your sister?
Yeah.
Why aren't you like your brother? You are very talkative. Oh, just try to manage your words. Like, it's like you're attacking the personality of your child. So what can parents do in order to pave a good way for their children to actually embrace who they are and grow into that?
I think most parents have the pressure. Most of them are living under the pressure to create a life for a child, which is given because parents have the ability to influence what children become. But let's also remember one thing, that parents are simply vessels that God uses for these children to come on earth. And for every child that comes, I believe, has a puzzle in their hand to solve. And therefore, God has already placed a purpose for them to achieve. So for us trying to make them fit in every situation is we are failing God, because the reality is God has set these children differently, and all of us are different to achieve a different divine purpose for God. Now, what I can say to parents is, be the guide. If I could say, I would simply be the guide. Look, seek to see the uniqueness in each child, because it's true, all the children are unique. My brother and I cannot be any different, So it's important that parents get to see, instead of looking for a conformity, to try to find a one size fits all type of situation, but instead look at the uniqueness that lies into each of the children and help them. You don't know how powerful a parent's voice is to say, I believe in you.
It is.
I know you can do it.
Yes.
I am here to support you, to provide you with anything you need.
Yes.
And in addition, to say, you're meant for greatness.
Wow.
You are meant to be, not to fit in. You're meant to be unique, because the world is going to actually all come to you for solutions.
Wow.
In the area, of course, of your gifting and calling. So a parent can make or break a future purpose to be fulfilled or not fulfilled. So it's up to you, parents. It's up to all of us that are parents or prospective parents. So, by the way, you don't even have to be biological parents. They're also mentors and people that are looking up to us. So, as a person of responsibility, you have the highest level of calling that you have is to guide people under your authority and support. And therefore, seeing greatness in them and calling it out of them is one of the biggest responsibilities that parents have, and not to make sure that everyone is as well behaved as everyone. Because, again, there's a difference between character and skill and talent. So, yes, it's important to shape the character of a child, but it's also good to let the child be free, explore, and be that God is calling them to be.
Wow, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm loving this conversation, but unfortunately, time is not our friend. So, but before I let you go, I want to ask you to tell us in a nutshell, in a very summarized way, because we have young people watching us, not only young people, we have a lot of people watching us, and they're asking themselves, okay, but I need to know, like, I actually want to start working on my self-confidence. I want to start working on my confidence, because yes, I have discovered my purpose. I have discovered the why of my life. I have discovered who I want to become, but I'm not confident enough. I struggle a lot to embrace what I believe I do have in me. So just give them, something practical. How can they achieve that?
Well, let me say congratulations. You have actually done the hardest part. Most of the people live in a space where they don't know what they're called to do, what they're called to be. And therefore, the first thing that I can say, remember what I said at the beginning, find the right people around you?
Yes.
Find people that are passionate about what you're passionate about.
Oh, wow.
Find people that are probably excelling in what you want to be. Those are called mentors or people that can guide you. Find them and sit on their laps and ask them questions about, and ask them, how do you get there? What do I need to do? What kind of trainings do I need? Where do I need to be serving now so that I can be prepared for the next, 3 years? And then once you know all you have to know, fold the sleeves of your shirt and get down to work. Because you can get all the information, but it's not going to get you there. You need to start to practice bit by bit by bit. And the moment you learn a skill, find a place to practice it. Find a community school, if I'm talking about public speaking or any other thing, teaching. Find a community school that you can go to. Find people around you. They find your neighbors and try to serve in that aspect. Come to Purpose Rwanda. Come to Purpose Rwanda and say, look, I'm here, I have this purpose, but I've learned, I've gathered this information. Where can I serve? Yes. And I can tell you, Mr. Charles or even Bruno, they will guide you on what to do. But if you don't have the luxury of coming to meet Purpose Rwanda, your community is enough for you to start from there. And do not dare allow anyone steal that God has put on your heart. Wow. Because that is, my friend, your identity.
That's
and your key to greatness.
Wow, that's amazing. And I believe you are taking notes. I can assure you I'm taking some notes. I don't have a paper, but I'm taking some notes somehow, So what he just said is really important. We have to remain teachable, because being teachable, allowing yourself to learn, asking questions, that's gonna help you. Because if you don't ask questions, then the knowledge you will get will be accidental. So if you don't want the leftovers and if you want something fresh, then formulate your questions, ask whatever you want to ask, and find the people, as he said, the people who are excelling in what you want to do, the people who are ahead of you, and be humble enough to learn. Sometimes we don't learn because we're not humble enough. We think we can do it, we can make it on our own. We need to stop that. So be humble enough and learn. Learn from people. We have a lot of people to learn from. You can learn from the workers, the colleagues, even children can teach you a lot. So I believe he just gave us, the right keys, and also the part that he said that we have to put in the work, because even though you know what you were made for, but it's not going to do itself. You are the one to perform the work. Yeah. If you are into public speaking, or if you are into communications, if you are into anything, medical school, or if you are a doctor, an architect, anything that you're doing, a businessman, a businesswoman, anything that you're doing, you need to keep practicing and learning. I often call myself, I'm a lifetime learner, and I believe we all should be. So thank you very much, Josh, for that, and I appreciate that. So please tell us what should the youth expect from you or your company, your organization.
Yeah.
Tell us what you have in store for us.
Yeah, I come from Toastmasters International. I've been part of this wonderful community. What we do is help people become better public speakers and leaders. So I call upon everyone that wants to be part of, of this great journey of public speaking and I think it should be everyone, because the ability to communicate and is vital, and I believe that the ultimate goal for every career is leadership and impact. So I think Toastmasters is your place. But I also run a regular podcast on YouTube, which is helping people develop their communication skills and leadership skills, which is called the Speaker's Pulse, and it's also helping you develop your soft skills. The soft skills is an area I'm very passionate about. So what you can expect is learning of lots and lots of soft skills.
Okay. Wow, that's good. So where do we register? How do you find you?
We are on social media. On social media, the best way to reach me is I'm on Twitter. At Tahinduka. That's actually my handle. But also we're on Facebook. The Speaker's Pulse is on Facebook and Twitter. I'm also on LinkedIn for professionals. But most importantly, Toastmasters and Speaker's Pulse are on Twitter, and you can always reach us, and then we can guide you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joshua, for your time.
Thank you.
It's highly appreciated.
Oh, it's my joy to be able to serve.
Thank you for the wisdom. Thank you for
you.
the lessons you shared with us.
Thank you.
I am pretty sure that I'm not the only one who enjoyed this, and I'm not the only one who learned something.
Well, I'm glad. I
So-
personally learned a lot from you as well.
Thank you very much. So I hope if I invite you again, I hope you're gonna come.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
My name is Baron Dixon, and this is the Harvest Time. The Harvest Time, we get to look at purposeful agents of transformation who have already made a difference in their communities, purposeful agents of transformation that are already putting an impact to their community. And today, this beautiful evening, I happen to have two gentlemen on the show. I want them to introduce themselves and what they do. Welcome them to the show.
Thank you, Baron. So thank you for having us. First of all, my name is Tony Nganji, and I'm the co-founder and the marketing executive in Nobileya.
Amazing.
It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, Baron, it's a pleasure too. I'm Eddie Robert, and I'm the CEO of Nobileya. Let's go for it.
Yeah, Nobileya is a distribution solution.
That's right.
So I want us to get this from the horse's mouth. I want these guys to tell us, what is Nobileya? What does Nobileya do? So I will start with Eddie. What is Nobileya?
A very big question.
Yeah.
I would start by definition, because actually Nobileya is a derivative from the Noble Group. So the Noble Group is a holding company, holding some more companies, Nobileya, Noblex, NoblePay. Maybe we should get some more time to talk about all of these things.
Yeah.
But to be precise, the name Noble Group is from an inspiration, which actually tells us that we are a holy nation and the royal priesthood. So anything that comes from royal background, it has to be noble. And we believe that we can't give less than being nobility in our society. So Nobileya is nothing more than noble with something as IA. Okay? So don't get confused by just a name. But the first thing that we keep on our minds and heart is that we have nobility within, because we are a royal priesthood. So we have to emulate that character, that feeling, that compassion in the society, so that the way we carry ourselves and our people should make such a difference in the community, because we are noble. We're not just normal people.
Yeah. That's really beautiful. You want to add on what Nobileya is?
I want to say Nobileya was brought to add to the business world the noble characters.
Okay.
You know, like when I talk about being noble, some of the people would understand it into like as the literal meaning. Some other people would take it to the history, when we had the clergy, then the noble group, and then the peasants.
Okay.
You know, like the people who did history, the time of Napoleon and Louis XIV and 16th and all that. So what we came to do to the business world is bring the noble character to the business world. Like it means being integral. Integral means integrity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like what you promise you deliver is what you deliver. Nothing more, nothing less. You know. So that's what we're here to do, and that's what Nobileya is here to do.
I can really sense the nobility from these guys. I can tell the content of Nobileya now, but then I want to understand something. What is the actual goal behind the creation of Nobileya? What is it that you want to address?
Yeah. I think that's a beautiful question, man. You know, every successful business in this world was here to address a specific question.
That's right.
A specific problem in the society. So what we're here to solve is not to the end consumer's goal or end consumer's world or side, is to the business person's side. You know, have you ever been to a shop where you find that these people, the business person is closed, maybe in the afternoon at 3, and then they tell you yaje kurangura?
Yeah.
It has happened to
Yeah.
you. You know, like we're here to address that. We don't want them to miss those clients due to the fact that they've been out there to get their products, or say they have to pay like 2,000 Rwandan francs extra to their bike, who's going to get them stuff from the market to their shop.
Okay.
So we're here to interconnect the manufacturers and then the end consumers.
And the end consumers.
Yes, that's the problem we're here to solve.
So between 2019 and now, I want to look at some of the achievements Nobileya has registered.
When you talk about Nobileya, by the way, I think it's a bigger picture.
Yes.
Since 2019, because Eddie and I have been involved in different aspects of business, of youth empowerment projects where we met personally, you know, so it's very huge. When you talk about the name Eddie Robert, or you talk about the name Tony Nganjo, you say Orators Africa or the Noble Group itself, it's registered tremendous impact. But then we were operating at different scales, you know, like we were on different ends. Each one was operating on under their different umbrella, you know, until when we decided to bring it together, like under one umbrella, and we're like, hey man, I think you can do this, I think we can do this. How about we join this and then we operate? So it will be very hard for me to accurately measure the impact that Eddie and I have had individually since 2019 to the youth and the country at large. But I mean, I think it's a significant thing.
Well, to add, I would say it's easy to think that achievements are tangible, you know, that should be measurable. Like, I made this kind of money, I built this kind of properties, or A, B, C, D, right? But if you actually go deep, you'll find that most of the achievement are the way you moved people, you inspired them, you helped them to achieve something greater than what they thought, and soft things that they are very hard to detect, but powerful to impact. That's what we've been doing. So we've been involved mostly into empowering. Number of different entities have actually engaged us to help them into trainings and blah, 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 you know. But now we've moved into saying, here's the problem, let's find a solution, let's address it, that's what we're in.
Yeah.
So 3 months from now, ask then we give you some other on space, because we're starting from this June.
Yeah, it's so nice and beautiful that you guys are bridging and giving a solution to the distribution channel. So you guys are like a solution to that. But I want to, from your own perspective, what are some of the challenges that are giving you a hard time in solving this this problem? Because I know distribution is problematic sometimes.
Baron, this is a quite personal question.
Oh.
Yeah, it is personal to me, and I know Eddie is going to address it differently. But as a person who's been dealing with people psychologically and personally in my previous endeavors, I would say that people have been dealing with people, young people of Africa, especially young people of Rwanda, are not looking at entrepreneurship but employment. We're all going to schools looking for employment. I want to be employed. I want to study this, get this degree, then be employed by MTN, be employed by this entity. But we're not looking at this problem as, how about I study, get the knowledge, then be self-employed,
Okay.
become an entrepreneur and employ 100 other people. This is the crab in a basket issue. In December, final note on this one, by the way, I'll be quick. In February last year, I was in Zanzibar. I was in a boat, and the fisherman was fishing crabs, you know. Then he was putting fish in the basket, and then they were jumping out every single second. Then he was like, all I need is one crab. Then I asked him, why do you need one crab?
Why?
Why do you need one crab? Then he said, if I put one crab in this basket, and then I put another fish in here, the crab will make sure that the fish does not move out. The moment the fish tries to move out, it will bring it back down. The moment the fish tries to jump out, it will bring it back down. One crab is enough to bring down 10 fish.
Okay.
So this is the mentality we Africans have. It's like, if I'm up here, this is a colonial mentality. I don't want to go there. We knew that one person had to be there, then the rest of us had to be down here. Then if I'm there, I'm gonna make sure the rest stay down here. So we need to develop this entrepreneurial mindset where we say one person is gotta be up there, then to provide resources for 100 of us. That's it.
That's amazing stuff. It's so beautiful, and it's so wonderful every time, you know, we get to look at youth. I want to call you guys youth because yes, you are. You know, sometimes it gets offensive. You know, I get empowered as a person when I see youth giving solutions to global problems. And I just want you guys, in a few words, you know, just, there are youth out there that are not living up to their goals, that are not, they're not purpose-minded. You know, it's not their problem sometimes, I understand. So in your own words, what message do you have to the youth out there who want to be like Tony, who want to be like Eddie, you know, come up with something, build something as strong as Nobileya?
Very big words that you just said. Number one, purpose for me is not definite. Purpose should be relevant. Purpose for me is not something that you've just born to do. I believe the time demands that we become. And purpose is about becoming a solution to the needs of time. So one, I love to say this every single time I meet my fellow youth, if I may say, that money is not a problem. It's a symptom of a problem. So anytime you're finding it hard to secure some, you should be asking yourself, what is actually this telling me? What is it that I'm not doing, or what is it that I'm doing that is keeping me away from? So I would say, don't aspire to be like me. Aspire to be like you, because me is taken. I'm sorry. That's one. Number two, we all can be entrepreneurs. It can be, but we all can be solutions. Why should you play mediocre in where you're working from? Why shouldn't you be a big player? Though you're employed, but it doesn't devalue yourself. It becomes an opportunity to prove that you can solve problems, challenge.
Beautiful.
So don't be hyped up that tomorrow I'm starting my own. I love the fact that you asked about challenges. Talk to me, I'll tell you. Today, Tony just put it better about the crab and fish. Boy, we got crabs in the bucket. Like people who would actually do anything to keep you in the bucket. And those are the big people in the country. I'm not mentioning anyone. I'm just saying that we should be aware. And this is not morally or any way correct. What we should be doing is not to push anyone down. Because the moment I'm lifted up, it's not me, it's you. Just like the words we all love to quote.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I would say, one, the time of being sorry for yourself is over.
It's over.
No one owes you a thing. You gotta get up.
Yeah.
That's one. Number two, if you want to make it big, get some people around you. Don't think you got it all. Get some people around you, let them help you. It's not about being strong, it's about getting people who are strong where you're weak. That would help you in moving forward. Number three, keep your foot on the ground and your mind in the sky.
A word to a wise is enough. Those are very powerful words from Eddie. And I want to ask Tony, lastly, but not least, what is the impact of Nobileya to the communities? Communities now.
Wow. Wow. That's the
You can't be last. You can.
That's like literally the worst question you can ask. But I'd say, okay, let me answer it in this way to make it simple. Baron, the thinking that got you here has created problems that the thinking that got you here cannot solve.
Say that again.
I will, sir.
Not first time hearing it.
The thinking that got you here has created problems whilst you're here that the thinking that got you here cannot solve to advance you. So we as African children, we've been through a lot, right? Historically proven. We've been through a lot. And the thinking that got us here to this little democracy that we have has created problems politically, economically, that the thinking has not the ability to solve. So if you want to solve the problems that you have currently, you got to become the person that you've never been. You got to think the way you've never thought, and you have to do the things that you've never done. So the impact of Nobileya today, Baron, you and I may not see it, but tomorrow, if you're to be a visionary, you'll be able to see that once you're in the middle of the sea and you see a star, it can help you chart the course. And when you can chart the course, you can sail across and get to your destination.
Okay. So, you want to add something?
Well, I'll give you what you want. Because he gave you a new mind.
Yes.
Let me get you something new to put it in your notes, because I think now you need something to say. Well, Nobileya is actually irikuhatwik. Harigush. One, we've been in interviews for these past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've got 231 people who've applied for becoming our agents.
Yeah.
So now we got 36 agents selected. We want to put them into 12 locations in Kigali. So now we're looking at people who are actually not getting jobs, if I may say, but opportunities. So I would say both, actually. So now that we have not, what we want to do with them is not to put them in a box of Nobileya, but to help them think outside. Not even outside the box, outside of themselves. Because we're giving them an opportunity to prove that they can be useful in the society. And yes, they're doing it. So one, we're impacting on the job aspect, we're impacting on the production aspect. We got a number of people who are actually diving into the production because they know we can help them into distribution. We are touching numerous aspects of our lives, but what I would say to the top of everything, we're actually changing the narrative. We are giving people a chance to see, like, well, it's doable. And I would say hope is what we need in all angles. We need people who can actually say, wow, there's still hope. Because he loves to say it better. He say, when there is hope for the future, it gives you power in the present, which is what we do. So most of what we're doing is to create a new mind for people to aspire for something that is above average. And yes, it's happening.
Wow, it is a wonderful time with Tony and Eddie from the Nobileya. Time can never be enough. That's why we need more and more of these guys on the show, and I promise you we are bringing them back on the show because we don't have it all. It's great minds. It's actually in my own noting, I'm just realizing that actually Nobileya is not only about channeling the distribution or solving the distribution, but greater minds. It has been a wonderful time with Eddie and Tony, the founders of Nobileya, a distribution solution. They are giving solutions to the distribution channel between the manufacturers and the end consumers. And they are also brave-minded youth, purposeful agents of transformation. Their impacts are vivid. The regional agents, they are recruiting different regional agents around Kigali, around the country. So that's creating opportunities, and far more better than employment opportunities. These people are getting opportunities to work with Nobileya. I've been Baron, your co-host, and I'll let you back to the studios with Ilma. Stay tuned on. This is the Purpose Rwanda Show. Kesitu La Povo.
So allow me to say goodbye to you, to our viewers. Thank you very much for being with us here on Purpose Rwanda Show. And I'll see you next time. It's on KC2, 7 p.m. We are learning, we are healing, we are having a great time. And I believe we are working in our purposes. See you next time. Thank you very much.